This is the last run of the decade. This is the last run of the decade in the GoRun Ride 8. In the GoRun Ride 8. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, everybody? Today is New Year's Eve, which is so crazy to me. We're ending the decade. It's 2020. I mean, let's go. But anyway, today I'm really excited because I am doing a first run impressions in a shoe that I have been dying to get my hands on for a long time, and that is the Skechers GoRun Ride 8. Now, I've never tried a shoe with Hyperburst, but I will say that the Skechers GoRun Ride 7, which used the Flight Gen foam that Skechers was originally using, was one of my favorite shoes of all time. It just worked for me. It fit my foot like a glove. I loved the cushioning. I love the response. So while I'm excited to try Hyperburst, I'm kind of worried that it's going to be something that I'm not really too into. We're going to put these shoes on. We're going to wait for Kate because she's coming here. And we're going to go for a little run, and we'll see how it goes. Looks pretty gross out there.
When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong.
Alright, first couple steps, and these feel good. I feel like maybe the GoRun Ride 7's a little cushier, but I don't know. Obviously, it's only the first few steps, so I have to test it out more.
'Cause darling, there is nothing right when all you seem to do is lie. Those days are gone. I'm walking tall while you're alone. When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much better. When I look at what I've done,
It's a pretty smooth ride. Traction is definitely good. The cushioning is interesting to me. Maybe I need to break the foam down a little bit, but it feels like a firmer ride. It kind of feels like my foot is sitting on a platform.
heart made of stone, but I'm just fine. I'm gonna shine. I'm alright, alright, alright. I'm celebrating my liberation. I'm moving strong. I'm moving on. I'm alright, alright, alright. My
And just like that, a decade of running is in the books. Now let's go in and talk about these shoes.
Here's the GoRun Ride 7. Here's the GoRun Ride 8. They look kind of different. All right, so like I said before my run, I was a huge fan of the Skechers GoRun Ride 7. It was one of my favorite shoes that I tried in 2018. So when I heard that the Skechers GoRun Ride 8 was coming out, I was really excited to try it with a full-length Hyperburst midsole, but I was also a little skeptical that it would change the ride of the shoe and kind of change my opinion on how I feel about it. And after my first run, I'd have to say that it kind of changed my opinion, although I'm optimistic, if that makes sense. But anyway, let's get to talking about my first run in the GoRun Ride 8, and I'll make comparisons to the 7 as I go along and when I feel like it's necessary. So of course, the main attraction here is the Hyperburst midsole. Now, so many of you have told me you have to try Hyperburst. Hyperburst is the best. It's a game-changing foam. So obviously, I'm gonna try to take you guys up on that. A game-changing foam is really something to write home about. So on my first run in the GoRun Ride 8, I would say that I thought this foam was on the firmer side. I would say that I felt some response for sure, but it was not a soft ride or really a bouncy ride for me by any means. Now, I'm not saying that's exactly like a bad thing. Soft doesn't come to mind, but I'll tell you what does come to mind when I'm wearing this shoe, and that's shock absorption. I will say that I felt like the Hyperburst really absorbed the shock when my foot hit the ground. Sometimes, as you all know, when you're running on concrete, your joints and your legs can get a little bit uncomfortable, or it could be like a little bit harsh on your body. But I felt like the Hyperburst kind of soaked all that up, and I didn't really feel any of that. So I guess I would call this shoe definitely on the protective side. I'm also curious to see how the Hyperburst will change over time. Will it soften up? Maybe it just needs a couple miles to break in. I don't know. That's why we do the first run impressions, to see how the shoe kind of develops over time. I'm hoping that maybe it gets a little bit softer as I break it in and kind of becomes a little more forgiving, but I don't know. This foam feels pretty resilient, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna do much changing at all, but I definitely could be wrong. Now, if we're comparing the two, I would have to say that I kind of like the Flight Gen foam in the GoRun Ride 7 a little bit better for this shoe. It gave me a little bit more cushion. It's a little bit of a softer, more forgiving ride. I know that's gonna be a super unpopular opinion, but it's my opinion and I gotta keep it real, you know? Now, one of the reasons why I think this shoe might be feeling on the firm side for me is because of the Outsole. Skechers is partnering with Goodyear on this shoe, and I think other shoes to come as well. The traction really was fantastic. In fact, I felt like this shoe had more grip than some of my other shoes, so that's definitely a plus. Goodyear's doing something right. However, I think this rubber contributes to a firmer ride. The rubber is hard, it's pretty stiff, and it's definitely a little bit unforgiving, so I would say that maybe that's contributing to the foam feeling firmer. I'd be interested to try a Skechers shoe that has Hyperburst but doesn't have the Goodyear rubber and see if maybe that's a little bit of a softer-ish ride than the GoRun Ride 8 is. The upper on this shoe is also a lot different than the GoRun Ride 7, and that's not actually a bad thing, that's a good thing in this case. Skechers is still using a knit upper, but it's a little bit more stretchy and forgiving. The GoRun Ride 7's upper is a stiffer knit, it's a little bit harsher, and it also has some stitched on overlays. Now in the GoRun Ride 8, they've gotten rid of those stitched on overlays, and you have sort of these melted on overlays in the midfoot to replace that. I think this contributes to a little bit of a snugger fit, and also just a better looking shoe in general. And there's a pull tab on the 8, and there's a pull tab on the 7. There you go. Skechers knows what's up. I didn't really have any serious issues, but I did feel like my pinky toe and one of my feet felt a little bit crammed in there and could have had a little bit more room. It's not the worst shoe I've ever tried as far as room for your toes, but it's also not the best. Maybe just a little bit more room would do the trick. One huge issue that I need to talk about is the sizing. So I don't know if anybody else has had this problem with the GoRun Ride 8s, but this is a size 10. This, the GoRun Ride 7, is a size 11. 10, 11. One more time now. 10, 11. That is a full size difference, which is, whoo, is that ridiculous? So guys, I don't know, but that's a huge issue. Like, how is your shoe going from a full size down? And I honestly have not seen anybody else have this problem, so maybe it's me. I don't know. I have big feet. Maybe that's where this problem really lies, is that they just can't figure it out for bigger size feet. That could be. But it's something that I had to know in case you have not picked this shoe up and have been thinking about it. I know it's really hard to find these shoes in person somewhere to try on, but you might want to order 2 sizes and see which one fits better and just return the other one if ordering online is your only option. Honestly, I'm excited to keep running in this shoe. I love the GoRun Ride series, and I think that the 8 and I will start to get along as time goes by. I mean, we're cool. We're friends. We're like friendly. We're like acquaintances, and I'm trying to get on that like deeper level. All right, you get what I'm trying to say. This is bizarre. Also, for those of you who have tried a bunch of Skechers shoes with Hyperburst, is the GoRun Ride 8 firmer? Am I crazy? Or is this something that you guys have experienced too? Is there another Skechers shoe that feels a little softer, maybe that doesn't have Goodyear rubber? Let me know in the comments below. So guys, that concludes my first run impressions of the Skechers GoRun Ride 8. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, tap that notifications bell as well so you can find out every time that I upload a new video. I hope your 2020 is off to a great start. It's a new year, a new decade filled with new, fun, and exciting running adventures and lots of new running shoes. That's all that matters. I mean, for me, kind of it is. I have a new video coming up for you guys next week. In the meantime, guys, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like Heller. See you next time.
Girls want colors like the men's shoe.
I don't want this
The men have the best colors in their shoe.
Yeah, it's true.
Please, give us something.
Please.
Give it, please.
Even that gray color that the guys get.
Give me an orange. Give me a green.
Orange.
Give me a yellow. I don't want pink and purple.